Her male best friend insulted me during dinner. She could easily find someone much better than you. I shut him down right there in front of everyone. She lost it. Apologize or we're finished. I smiled. I didn't utter a single word. But when she returned home weeks later, she finally understood what done truly meant. For 3 years, my life with Anna was good. Great, even. I'm a lawyer, so my workday usually involves diving into the darkest sides of human behavior. Coming home to her felt like a deep, clean breath of fresh air. She worked as a paralegal, incredibly sharp, and carried this strong drive to attend law school and build her own reputation. I admired that about her. We functioned as a team, creating a future together in a house I had spent years renovating. It felt stable, genuine. I wasn't simply covering expenses for a girlfriend. I was investing in the woman I intended to marry. But there was always this background noise, a constant subtle feeling that something wasn't fully right. And that noise had a name: Leo. Leo was her closest friend from college. He worked as a graphic designer, one of those types who labels himself an artist and treats a regular job like the worst possible outcome. Meanwhile, he designed menus for cheap restaurants just to scrape by on rent. According to Anna, he was her loyal supporter, her platonic soulmate, the one who always protected her. To me, he was a parasite with an arrogant attitude, and he had made it his personal goal to weaken our relationship. He was skilled at it, I'll admit. He never did anything obvious enough to confront directly. It was all indirect jabs, small toxic comments wrapped in compliments. Her ex-boyfriend, Alex, a musician who had crushed her heart, was his go-to subject. If I took Anna on a luxurious trip to Mexico, Leo would somehow mention some unplanned camping adventure he and Anna once shared. "Remember that, Anna?" he'd say, sounding nostalgic. You can't schedule moments like those. You just need to be with someone who understands your adventurous side. The message was always clear. I was the dull, dependable option. And he was the guardian of the thrilling life she was supposedly giving up. And Anna, she absorbed every word. She was totally taken in by his caring friend routine. Whenever I even suggested he was crossing a line, she would get defensive. He's just being himself. He supported me when Alex destroyed me. He's only concerned for me. He's like family, Jack. I'm a patient person. You have to be in my profession. You don't react to the first sign of trouble. You observe. You let the other person keep talking. You allow them to construct their own downfall, and you wait for them to provide the evidence. I waited for Leo to hand me that evidence. The moment arrived a month ago. I had just secured the largest victory of my career. 6 months of intense work, endless sleepless nights, weekends lost in documents. But we won, and it was a major achievement for my firm and for me personally. To celebrate, I hosted a dinner party. My closest friends, the ones who had barely seen me during those 6 months, were all present. And because I was still trying to be reasonable, I asked Anna to invite her friends, which naturally included Leo. The evening was excellent. The house was filled with good company. The premium wine I had been saving was flowing, and I was finally unwinding for the first time in ages. Leo, of course, was enjoying the free drinks and behaving as if he belonged there. After a few drinks, he decided to put on a show. He launched into a lengthy, dull story about an art show, which was really just a way to contrast creators with corporate types. "It's simply a different perspective on life," he said, staring directly at me. "Some of us are motivated by passion and creativity. Others are more conventional." He took a long, deliberate sip of my wine. My friends recognized his tactics and were giving him looks that could freeze water. I simply offered a polite smile and stayed quiet. But he wasn't finished. He turned to Anna, wearing his most caring expression. "I just want you to be happy, Anna," he said, his tone full of false concern. "I mean, Jack's a decent guy. He's steady. He's a provider. He's dependable." He said dependable as if it were an insult. Then he paused, looked straight at me, and let a smug grin appear on his face. "But you have to admit she could do way better than you." And there it was. The opening. The entire table fell quiet. You could have heard a pin drop. My friends appeared ready to jump across the table. Anna just stared at her plate, her face flushed. She wasn't upset with him. She was only embarrassed that he had caused a scene. That was the moment everything became perfectly clear to me. The calm lawyer disappeared. The man who had just been deeply disrespected in his own home, in front of his friends, by someone living off his hospitality, was now in control. I set my fork and knife down slowly. I folded my hands on the table and locked eyes with Leo. The gracious host was gone. The prosecutor had stepped forward. "That's quite a strong statement, Leo," I said. My voice was low and controlled. "I'm curious about your logic. In your expert view, what does a better partner for Anna look like? Please be detailed." "Give me the standards." Leo was caught off guard. He had expected yelling. He wasn't ready for a calm, precise questioning. Well, he stuttered. "Someone more on her wavelength. A creative type, someone who truly understands her." "I see," I said, nodding. "So the key requirement is being creative, an interesting idea. And I suppose you consider yourself to match that description?" "I think I understand her better than anyone," he replied, straightening up. "Perfect," I said. "So you're the ideal example. Let's analyze that. Let's include some actual facts beyond feelings. Let's discuss investment. As everyone here knows, Anna is in her second year of law school. It's an elite program with a very high cost. I'm covering all of it. It's a big financial commitment, of course, but it's also a commitment of trust. Trust in her and trust in our shared future. So my question for you, Leo, as the self-proclaimed ideal partner for Anna, is this. What have you contributed to her future recently, besides your constant criticism of me?" Leo's face turned pale. Anna gave me a worried glance. "Jack, stop this," she whispered. I raised a hand to quiet her. My eyes remained fixed on Leo. "I'm not finished. Let's talk about the car she drives. It's safe, it's dependable, it gets her to class reliably. I purchased it for her. Now you own a car too, right, Leo? A stylish convertible that breaks down frequently. In fact, Anna has had to lend you money for repairs at least 3 times in the past 6 months, hasn't she? Money that came from the household account that, by the way, I'm the only one contributing to. So in a very real sense, Leo, I'm not only investing in Anna's future. I'm also funding your little trendy car. You're welcome." One of my friends at the table actually laughed before turning it into a cough. Leo looked stunned. And finally I said, leaning forward, my voice quieter, "Let's discuss this house, the shelter over her head. I own it, I pay the mortgage, I handle the repairs. You, on the other hand, have been late on your rent so often that Anna has had to cover for you, again, with money I earned. So let me summarize your argument for everyone at the table. Your claim is that a man who offers a stable home, a reliable car, and full funding for a top law school is a lesser choice for Anna. And that a better man, according to you, is someone who is a financial burden, who takes her resources, and who thanks her by constantly trying to ruin her relationship out of what seems like a sad, obvious, and rather disturbing fixation. Is that a fair summary of your position, Leo?" I leaned back. The argument was complete. The room was completely silent. Leo was destroyed, a witness completely dismantled. He sat there, humiliated, unable to respond. I looked at my friends, who were now watching Leo with clear disgust. Then I looked at Anna. Her face showed a mix of emotions. But the one that emerged, cutting through the shock and embarrassment, wasn't relief. It wasn't thankfulness. It was pure, intense anger. She jumped up from her chair, the legs scraping loudly against the floor. Her entire body trembled. "I can't believe you just did that," she hissed. "You humiliated him in front of everyone." "He humiliated himself, Anna," I said, my voice weary now. "I simply presented the facts." "Apologize to him," she demanded, her eyes burning with rage directed fully at me. "Right now. Apologize to my best friend for what you just did. Apologize or we are over." And there it was, the ultimatum, the final proof. She was standing beside the ruins of a man who had just been revealed as a manipulative freeloader, and she was defending him. She was choosing him. The love I had for her didn't fade away, it was ended completely. I looked at her, and for the first time I saw her with total clarity. I didn't get angry. I didn't raise my voice. I simply smiled. A small, sad, and completely final smile. I didn't say another word. I stood up, picked up my wine glass, and walked into the kitchen, leaving her standing alone in the silent dining room. The matter was settled. The verdict was final. The consequences after that dinner came quickly. Anna and Leo left together in a wave of drama. She moved in with him that same night, a choice clearly made in the heat of her anger and his embarrassment. In her mind, she had issued a challenge. She was waiting for me to come back begging. To apologize, to do whatever was needed to repair what I had damaged. She had no idea that I had simply accepted her conditions. For 2 weeks, I went completely silent. I didn't answer her calls. I didn't respond to the flood of furious, then confused, then desperate messages. I ignored the mutual friends she sent to argue her side. I was invisible. Instead of chasing her, I focused on what needed to be done. My house, which had once felt like our home, now felt like the scene of a finished chapter. I spent a weekend carefully packing every item she owned into boxes. It wasn't done in rage. It was a purification. I was closing out the remains of an ended relationship. When I finished, I placed the boxes in the spare room, changed all the locks, and updated the security codes. Then I made 2 phone calls. They were difficult but necessary. They were the natural results of the decision she had made at that dinner. The first call was to the dean of admissions at her law school. I had a strong connection with him through my alumni involvement. I explained calmly and professionally that due to a permanent shift in my personal situation, the private scholarship I had established for Anna's tuition was being ended. Effective immediately. The second call was to the managing partner at my firm. I had used many connections to secure Anna a valuable summer internship there. It was a major career opportunity. I explained that a serious and unresolvable personal conflict had developed, and the offer had to be withdrawn. I took no pleasure in it, but my support for her had rested on the basis of our partnership. She had shattered that foundation. She could no longer live in the house. Exactly 2 weeks after the dinner, she appeared at my door. I watched her on the security camera struggling with her key, her confusion turning to frustration when it didn't work. She finally rang the bell. I opened the door, keeping the security chain attached. She looked exhausted. The self-righteous anger had vanished, replaced by tired desperation. The reality of living with a broke, self-centered artist had clearly hit hard. "Jack, we need to talk," she said. "No, Anna, we don't," I replied. "You made your decision. The discussion is finished." "You can't just discard 3 years over one argument," she pleaded, tears forming. I was upset. I wasn't thinking clearly. "It wasn't an argument," I said. "It was a moment of truth. You were given a clear choice between your partner and the man who had been working to destroy our relationship. And you chose him. You demanded that I apologize to him. You chose to defend the freeloader. That's not something I can overlook." The panic grew as she realized I wasn't changing my mind. "But everything we planned," she stammered. "Law school, the internship." "Yes, about that," I said, letting the silence hang. "The tuition for your final semester is due next week, isn't it? I hope you and Leo have figured that out because my support for our future has ended." Her face went pale. "What?" she whispered. "And the internship at my firm," I continued firmly. "That offer has been withdrawn. The firm takes conflicts of interest seriously." She actually stepped back, her hand covering her mouth. The internship was her big break. The future she had counted on was disappearing. "You can't do that," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Jack, please, you can't." "I already did," I said. "Actions have results. You gave me an ultimatum. Apologize or we're over." I chose over. "Now you get to live with those results. Go ask Leo for help. The man who is so much better than me. I'm sure his artistic talent includes a way to cover your $50,000 tuition and replace the career you just lost." I closed the door on her tear-filled face. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I just felt calm. The trial had ended. The aftermath was exactly as expected. Anna's life collapsed. She had to leave law school just months before finishing. The dream was gone. She and Leo are apparently still together in his small apartment. I've heard from friends that it's a difficult situation. She's filled with bitterness toward what he cost her, and he's stuck with a woman who constantly reminds him of his own shortcomings. He got the girl, but he got a damaged version of her that he can't support. I didn't do this for revenge. I did it for myself. A relationship is a commitment, and she had broken the most important part. Loyalty. My actions weren't punishment. They were simply enforcing the terms. She wanted to know what done really meant. Now she knows. It means the support ends, the investment stops, and the one who built it walks away, leaving you in the ruins of the life you helped destroy.